Okay, so I prepared some practice math for us, just to go over some of the kinds of things we'll need to do when we're working in the shop. Okay, so a lot of this has to do with taking different measurements of things and adding and subtracting them from each other. And this will require us both to keep in mind and convert feet into inches in order to successfully math things, and also to convert fractions from one denomination to another, right? So if you remember from, like, I don't know when you learn fraction math, probably fourth grade or something, you got the numerator, that's the number on the top, and the denominator is the number on the bottom. So we will have to make those denominators match in order to math between different fractions. And other than that, let's just get started and work through these problems as a demonstration, okay? I have posted a copy of this sheet if you want to print it out and like try each one, and then if you get stuck, you can watch the part where I do it. That's totally cool. And if you're like, hey, I got this, no problem, then just, chill, man, and I'll see you in class next week. Okay? All right, so shop math practice number 1. Here we go. Problem 1, 10 feet minus 3 foot 4 inches. Okay, great, we can do that. So I would write it the other way, right? So 10 foot 0 inches minus 3 feet 4 inches. That's my first step, right? Equals. And then I take that 10, turn it into 12 inches in order to get my result. 6 foot 8 inches. Okay, great. Same idea here for 3 foot 3 minus 7 inches. 3 foot 3 inches minus 7 inches. Okay. So I need to get more inches in order to subtract. And the way that I do that is I change that 3 into a 2, and I change that 1 foot that I'm subtracting into 12 inches. 12 plus 3 is 15. Right? So I took that 12 inches, I added the 3 I have already to get 15. 15 minus 7 is going to give me what? 8, right? 2 foot 8 inches. With me so far, right? Okay, great. So we have 4 foot 6 inches and 1 foot 9 inches. 6 plus 9 is 15, right? So I can take 12 inches out of that, and that'll give me 3 inches left, which will be where I end up. And then I can carry that 12 inches over as a foot into this column, right? Into the feet column. So 6 foot 3 inches is my final number on that one. All right, let's look at number 4. 3 foot 2.5 plus 5 7/8 inches. Great. 3 foot 2.5, right? Plus 5 7/8. Okay, we're going to start over here in the fractions column, okay? So we want to add a half and 7/8. We need to go with the eighths because that is the largest number in the denominator, okay? So to add a half and 7/8, we need to convert the 1/2 inches into eighths. So 1/2 inches would equal, 1/2 equals how much in eighths? 4, right? Does this come back to you? Right? And the way that we got there, right, was I need this to be an 8. So I know from 2 to get to 8, I multiply by 4. So 1 times 4 equals 8. So now I have 4 eighths plus 7 eighths is going to give me how many eighths? 11. Okay. So 11 eighths is the same, equals, right? We can cancel out 8 of those eighths, right? And so that will leave us with 1 equals 1 3/8, right? So now this one comes over to this column. 3/8 is in this last column here. The 1 came over here, we carried it, and so now we have 1 and 2 is 3 and 5 is 8. 3 foot 8 3/8 inches. Okay, I think this is a little better. This was like all up in my face when I was working, so move the camera. Let's look at number 5. 10 3/4 minus 6 1/8. So 10 3/4 6 1/8 minus 3/4 minus 1/8. So let's convert that 3/4 into eighths. To get that denominator of 8, I have to multiply it by 2/2 equals 6/8. 6/8 minus 1/8 is 5/8. And then 10 minus 6 is 4. So that's 4 5/8 inches. 5 foot 10 minus 1 foot 7 5/8. So I have to subtract 5/8 from something. And I don't have a fractional inch up here in this inches section. So I'm going to change that to 9. And then I'll have 8/8, right? That last inch I'll represent as 8/8. So 8/8 is 1 inch. So I've pulled that out now. So that means I can take 8 minus 5 to get 3/8 is the fractional inches. And then I have 9 inches left minus 7, 2, and 1 foot out of 5 feet is 4 feet. 4 foot 2 3/8 inches. Okay, number 7. 1 foot 6.5 inches minus 3 5/16 inches equals. So 1/2 inch, we want to turn that into 16th marks, right? So to do that, I would take the 1/2 and I would multiply it by 2. So 8/8, that's 1, right? So it would be 8/16, right? You multiply the numerator, you multiply the denominator, you get 8/16. 8/16 minus 5/16 equals 3/16. 6 minus 3 is 3. 1 foot 3 3/16 inches. All right, one more. 4 foot 8 1/4 inches plus 2 foot 7 13/16 inches. Great. Okay. 1/4 in 16ths. I need to multiply that by 4. By 4/4. So 1/4 equals 4/16. 13/16 plus 4/16 is going to give us what? 17/16, which we can simplify that by pulling that 16 out of it, right? So then we get 1/16, we get 1 1/16. Okay? So that comes through this way, right? So we have 1/16 over here. We carry that 1. Now we have 7, 8, and 8 is 16. So we have 16, and 16 inches equals 1 foot 4 inches, right? Because you can take out that 12 inches to simplify it down. So now you're at 4 1/16, and you've carried a foot, right? So that's 1 foot. That's gone up here, right? Just like this one went up here. And that gives us a total of 7 feet. So the clean version, right, is 7 foot 4 1/16 inches. Yes? Fun, right? Math. It's like awesome. Okay, so that is your first practice of using feet and inches measurements, as well as fraction math to play out this whole situation. So if there are ones that you still have trouble understanding, having looked at the work that I've shown, and the way that I've worked through the problems, you need to let me know when we have synchronous class again so that I can help sort you out. All right, thanks friends. I'll see you soon.